Yeah, let me just get rid of this one. Sorry. Sorry. Let me just pause the recording and make sure it's. So as you know, before your vacation, we already finished inside JavaScript. And now we will have a new module, and this module, it will be for 2 weeks, what we call behavior strategy and implementation. So let me show you. Okay, so we have behavior strategy implementation. It will be 2 weeks. After that, we will have separation of concern, also 2 weeks. We already have an idea what separation of concern. I did a few examples with you, but behavior strategy implementation, we didn't do anything yet. So let's click on this one and try to see what is this module. Okay, so what is this module here? What we supposed to do? Now, in this module, it's actually nothing new. It's not that complex. What's really important, let me click on the lesson plan. So as you can see, we have 2 weeks. For first week, we will just have a look at solution wrap-up and then function design. And our deliverable here, so we have 2 deliverables or 2 projects. One deliverable for week 1, it will be solution write-ups. For week 2, we will learn how to review code, other people code. And after that, also, you will have a task which you do review other people code. So it's not that difficult at all. So let's go to the first one, which is called solution wrap-up. So let's click on this one. And let's see what is solution wrap-up. So solution wrap-up is simply what is mean here when you have a problem. Whatever the problem is, you will try to find a solution for this problem. And of course, as I told you before in JavaScript, when we have a problem, we normally don't have one solution for this problem, right? So we will have multiple solutions for this problem. And here, after that, we need to decide which solution is more performance. And by performance, I mean which one is faster and also take less memory. Okay. So first, okay. Let's have a look at what is behavior. I'm going to explain what is behavior, what is your strategy, and what is implementation. So you understand what is your module about. And after that, I'll give you an example. And in this example here, or an exercise, whatever you want to call it, this exercise here, we can bring any exercise from any debate, from any website I give you, which there's a lot of challenges. And after that, you need to do the same. So first, what is behavior? So our module called behavior strategy implementation. What is behavior? Can anyone tell me what is behavior? So what is behavior? And of course, as you can see, it's written here. As you can see. So what do you think a behavior is? Let's say, what is a function behavior, for example? It's not that complex. It's simple, huh? What is a function behavior? For example, let's say I have a function, and this function add 2 numbers, take 2 numbers as a parameter, add these 2 numbers, sum them, and after that return the sum. What is the behavior of this function? Addition. So what is the behavior is simply is what function is doing. So my function, my behavioral function is taking 2 numbers, add these 2 numbers, and then return me these numbers. That's the behavior. So the behavior of a function is what is the function doing. If my function adding 2 numbers, I will suggest my function take 2 numbers as a parameter and return the sum. If it's multiplying 2 numbers, I will say my function take 2 parameters, and after that, return me the multiplication. If my function console.login hello world, I will say the behavior of my function is just login hello world. So that simply is the behavior of the function. It is what the function doing. Is the idea clear? Rachel? Clear? So the behavior of a function is simply what this function is doing. If my function reverses a string, its behavior is it's reversing a string. Simply like that. So how can we describe the behavior of the function? So to describe the behavior of the function, we need to do a certain step, and all of them, you already know them. The first one is GSDoc. So we need to document our function. Why do we need to document our function? First, so we know for us, so we know what the function is doing, what parameter is taking, what will be the return value, what my function is doing, and also for other developers, so they know how to use this function. And to document our function, we already know how to document our function using GSDoc, right? So let me click on this one here. And as you can see, let's say we have an example here, and this example here is repeating a string number of times. So if I give a string and then I put a number, it will repeat my string number of times. For example, let's say I say hi and I add 5, it will repeat hi, 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 hi 5 times, all of them like that. So that's an example of the function. Of course, I can run it if I want to, but just to show you. So how can I describe the behavior of my function? Well, first I need to document my function. To document our function, we learn how to use GSDoc. So first, as you can see, GSDoc start with / asterisk, and then we have asterisk /. So first, the first line, I need to describe what my function is doing. Here, this function is repeating a string number of times. After that, I will leave one line blank, and here I will come to the params, as you can see. Here in params, I need to define in curly brace what is the data type of this param. Are they string? Are they numbers? Are they Boolean or whatever? So I need to define the data type. And here, as you can see, I'm saying it's string. And if my parameter has a default value, I will put it inside square bracket. So as you can see here, it's between square bracket, and I say the name of my parameter, of course, it will be text. As a default value, it will be an empty string. And here, after that, I need to, what is that? What is this parameter? So here's a string to repeat. I will just say the string to repeat. You don't need to mention this one default value. Why? Because it's clear here the default value is an empty string. Okay, so this part you're not gonna mention. You will just say here, what is this parameter? It is a string we want to repeat. The second parameter is number, and we call it repetition, and its default value is equal to 1. So how many times to repeat the string? After that, I don't want to add anything here, but I will come to the return value. Because I'm repeating a string multiple times, it will return, of course, a string. So here, when I say return, of course, you need to remember this in GSDoc. This at is important, you know that. So at return here, I will need to know what it returns, what data type also it returns. Is it return string, it return Boolean, it return number, it return null, it return object. So here it returns string, and I will say the text repeated number of times. So to describe the behavior of our function, we need to do certain steps. Of course, the behavior of my function is what my function doing, as you know, but I need to document, I need to follow some step to describe the behavior of my function. The first step is to document my function using GSDoc, and I think it should be clear 100%, right? The second step is writing unit test. And as you already know, we already teach you how to write unit testing using Jest. So I need also to write some unit testing to make sure that my function is working correctly, okay? So the second way, or the second step to document my function is writing unit test. And as you can see here, it's the same idea. I'm importing my function here. They are using named import. And here I will just use describe, and then I will just write some tests to make sure that the behavior of my function is my function is doing what I want to do, okay? Is the idea clear? These two should be super clear. There's nothing new here, right? Okay, the last one here, use cases. So if you have any real cases in the real world, in your real application, if you have any cases, we can use this function. For example, you can write them. For example, here in real world, maybe on my website, I need to ask the user here, as you can see, get element by ID. Maybe I ask the user for a string, and I will ask the user for how many times he want to repeat. And after that, I repeat it, then I will append it to the DOM. So real world example is if you know any examples that this function can be used in real world, in real application. And you may tell me, but I don't have an experience. I mean, I didn't work with real project. Well, it's okay. Whatever example you have, you can just mention it here. That's not super important, use cases. It's not super important. But what's really important is first to document your function, write unit testing. And if you have any example in real world how to use this function, you can write it. So that's what we call the behavior of my code or my function. Is the behavior 100% clear for you? For everyone, Yana? Ramya? Someone? Soumya?
This is not a behavior this is we have to take on
Yeah, that's the default value.
Default value.
So if I have a default value, I will need to write square bracket, just like an array, square bracket, and then I will write the name of the parameter and the default value. So the default value here is an empty string. The default value here for repetition is 1. all the time, it's a good idea to add default value to your function. Why? Because if someone call it without any parameter, it will not throw an error. It will not cause any problem. Is the idea clear? Perfect. So what is behavior of the function? Agnieszka, what is the behavior of the function? Exactly, it's what the function doing. So how can I describe the behavior of my function? So we have 3 steps. Yana, what is the first step? Yeah, so I need to document my function. How can I document my function? Well, it's quite simple. I can use GSDoc. And GSDoc, as you know here, I will need to first to write what is my function doing, then one line. And then after that, I need to define how many parameters I have, and then the return value. And after that, what will be the second step, Rodika? What is the second step? Yeah, so I need to test my function, so to test my function, we use unit testing using just, and we already learned how to use it. And the third step, Ramya, it is to mention some real world example. So if I have any real world examples, this function can be used, I can use it simply like that. I think it should be 100% clear if I'm not mistaken. So is that what we call the behavior of my function? Yeah, but so the function is the actions. That's what will make my code works. So if I don't have a function, I don't have an action. So you may tell me, for example, I am human. Well, I have a name, yes. I have some property. I have keys. I have like that. But if I am human, I'm not able to speak. If I'm not able to walk, so I don't have any functionality. You got my point? So we use it for function. Why? Because the function is what they are doing. It's the actions. And of course, as I told you, we may have function inside object as well, which we call them a method. So yes, most of the time we use it for function because the function are the actions, what they are making my code work. So we need to describe this behavior. Yes? Okay, so we know now exactly what is behavior is. Now, what is strategy? So I will make strategy very simple. Do you remember when we study agile development? I told you all the time you need to plan for your project. It's the same idea simply. So first, after I document my function, write some unit testing, stuff like that. Now here, I need to write some plans to try to find a solution for this problem. So for example, now I want to repeat a string multiple times, right? So maybe I have one plan, so I will write some plan. Okay, I can just get the string, and after that say dot repeat, because there is a repeat method on the string, and I can pass the number and like that to repeat it multiple times. Or maybe I can use for loop, and for loop here I will say as long as it's greater than the number, and then I will repeat it and append it to a new string. So I have multiple plans to solve this problem, right? I've told you before in JavaScript, we have multiple way to find a solution for a problem. And here, that's a strategy. So simply, the strategy is a plan how to solve this problem. And now here, of course, we don't have normally one strategy in JavaScript or any programming language. Most of the time in programming, we have multiple solutions, not one solution. For example, if I ask Agnieszka, go to delays, for example, well, Agnieszka can just go to down here and can go to delays. If I ask Yana maybe go out and after that go around the building and then go to delays. If I ask someone else, maybe he will go to Scarbeck and after that go to delays. So yes, there are different solutions. The most important for me, I have different strategy to solve this problem. Okay, so I will not concentrate which solution is better. No, I will try to concentrate on find different solution. So that simply is a strategy. And in strategy, we don't mention the code. Strategy is not related to the programming language. So I will not say, for example, I'm going to use for loop or I'm going to use stuff like that. I will not mention any language. It's just like a plan. So you will say, for example, maybe I can get this string and after that, maybe I can iterate through this string multiple times or like that. So I will not mention for loop or string method. Okay, I will just write my plan. Because mentioning the language feature is not belong to the strategy, it's belong to the implementation when I write the code. Okay, so the plan or the strategy is not related to one programming language. So I shouldn't say, for example, okay, I can use in JavaScript something like that. Well, yes, but here the strategy is just a plan. It's just writing a plan without mentioning any language feature. Okay, so it's not related to any programming language. So how can you solve this problem? As you can see, so the strategy, how can I solve this problem? So let's see here. So as you can see, here they say they propose 4 solutions. The first one, iterate until the string is long enough. Notice they did not say, for example, for loop, or we're gonna use built-in method for JavaScript. No, here they're saying, as you can see, that's my strategy. It's just English text. So here I can iterate through the string. Here I can just create a function, then I can calculate the final length, iterate the string, and like that I will return the repeated string. So the strategy is just like a plan. You write it in normal English, okay? Simply like that, and you will try to find as much solution as you can. Here, iterate stepper, so you have you can just declare a number and then iterate a number of times. Here you can use the recursion if you want to. Recursion is function calling itself, and here you can use some built-in method if there is any built-in method in the language I am using. So I will not say dot repeat. No, if there is any built-in method on this programming language, we can use, and that's simply what we called the strategy. Is strategy clear? So as you can see, strategy is just normal English text. Okay, it's just it's your step to solve this problem. Is the idea clear, Agnieszka?
How many of them? One is enough.
Normally, we will give you for this module, we will give you some challenges, and these challenges you should come up with as many solutions as you can find. Okay, but in real life, you may have one solution or two, and after that, you need to decide which solution is better. And I told you to mention which solution is better, I need to know which function is faster and which function is taking less memory. And I'm gonna teach you that later, of course, okay? But for now, I want you just to focus on the behavior of the function, the strategy, which is the plan to solve the problem, and after that, the implementation. The implementation simply, I will see my step, and after that, I will code it in JavaScript. Just use my code. Voila. That's what we call the implementation. And here, as you can see, for example, and now I'm mentioning while loop. Before I did not mention, so in the strategy, I did not mention any language feature for loop or repeat or stuff like that. We mentioned that in the implementation. So after I wrote my plan, my different strategies, then now I'm gonna implement it. So as you can see here, they come and implement it using while loop. So here we are using JavaScript because we are using JavaScript here. Here, for example, we're using while loop again in another way. Here we are using, for example, build for recursion, for built-in, for example, as you can see, we have repeat. So we are mentioned that we have a method called repeat, and in this repeat, I can use it to repeat string multiple times. That's simply behavior, strategy, and implementation. It's not complex. I want you to remember something quite very important. Now here, for this function, how many behavior do I have? So, and now in this example, how many behavior do I have? How many behavior do I have, guys? Three behavior, are you sure? What is the behavior? Is what function is doing. That means I only have one behavior only. That's it. So all the time I have one behavior, but I have multiple implementation, multiple strategy, multiple implementation. But again, I have only one behavior. It doesn't matter what solution I am using. All the time, your function must exactly do the same behavior. Because if you write a solution and after that is not repeating the string, that means it's not correct, right? So all the time, if you use 20 solution, I don't care. The most important, they must have the same behavior, which is repeating a string multiple times. Is the idea clear?
If we have a function that reverse, but in the same time she will split.
So
it's the same, it's only one behavior.
What's important for me, the behavior, what's important for me, it's what the function is doing. So if your function is taking a string, in this example, taking a string, taking a number here, which will repeat it. After that, whatever calculation do, I don't care. The most important for me, it's returning this string repeated. Okay, so I would say that's fine. So all the time, remember one behavior, multiple strategy, multiple implementation. So I have one function, this function, I want this function to console.log hello world, okay? It has one behavior only. Now, strategy, I could write multiple strategy, okay? I can, for example, come write something, and after that console.log, I can call it inside the function. I can do multiple stuff. So I have multiple implementation, multiple strategy, but all the time I have one behavior. Is the idea clear? So all the time, whatever strategy you do, whatever implementation you do, at the end, the behavior of my function must be exactly as described. So if I have two solutions, both of them must do the same thing. If they are not doing the same thing, that means it's not correct, right? If my function taking two number as these two number, what's important for me, if I have million solution, all these solution, they are taking these two number and they are returning the sum for me. So the behavior all the time, it's one behavior, multiple strategy, multiple implementation. Is it clear 100%? That's simply our module. It's not difficult, as I told you. It's quite simple, actually. Next week, I will teach you how to, for now, just I will give you an example, show you, so you go through the example like that, so you get used to it. Next week, I'm gonna teach you how we can determine which, so I have two solutions, okay? Or I have two implementation, okay? Two solution, two implementation. Of course, I have one behavior, as I told you, and after that, I need to decide which one is better. And to decide which one is better, I need to see the time here. So what's important for me is the speed of this function. Is this function or this function is better, more faster than this function or not? If the one function is faster than the other, then I'm gonna prefer the one which is faster. But that's not the only factor. The second factor, it will be how much memory it takes, how much memory it consumes. So the two factor important for me when I decide which solution here in my real project. Yes, I have multiple solutions, but I don't need multiple solutions. I want one solution for my project. To decide which solution is better, I need to know which function is faster and which function is take less memory. Now, sometimes some solution they're faster, but they take more memory. Some solution they take less memory, but they are slow. And now in this example here, you need to decide depending on your need. Do you want your function to be faster? So you need to prefer, do you want to prefer the speed or do you want to prefer the memory? If you don't have a lot of memory, of course, it's a good idea to take the function with take less memory. But if you have a lot of memory, you don't care about the memory, so it's the function which is doing it faster, it will be more preferable. Is the idea clear what I'm trying to explain? Perfect. So that's simply our module. Just as I told you, next week, I'll teach you how to calculate the time and also how much memory it consumes. Of course, in JavaScript, guys, in the front end, we cannot calculate how much memory it takes. Why? Because my website need to be alive. I need to have like my website, and after that, I need to calculate the performance and see. But what we can do, we can use Node. As you know, Node is just JavaScript, but in the backend. So I can use some feature of Node, and feature of Node, it will calculate how much the space of the heap, how much the space of the heap before I call the function and after I call the function, and after that I can minus the total space after I call the function from the total space before I call the function, and then I will know how much memory it takes. Don't worry about this detail, I'll explain it in next week. Is it quite clear? Perfect. That's simply our module, it's not that complex. So let's go to the first one, which is solution wrap-up. Now, what is solution wrap-up? I will just go here. So solution wrap-up, if you click on it, it will take you to a new repo. That's the repo here. Of course, in this repo, we already have an example. So you can use this template. Now, why are you going to use this template? I will show you this solution now. But what you need to do after that, let me go back here. You need to go to this website, HYF-BE, or you can go to LetCode, or you can go all these websites I shared with you before. You can go to any website and you can pick a challenge, one challenge. And after that, you need to do, you need to document, or you need to describe the behavior of your function. To describe the behavior, I need to write GSDoc, unit testing, and maybe some real world example. And then I need to define my strategy, which is the plan. You try to come up with as much as you can find strategy. So maybe 2, 3, depending on what you can find. And after that, you need to implement them. And implement them, just translate this strategy into code. Is the idea clear? So let's have this look together on this example. And after that, what you need to do here, you need to go to this solution wrap-up I will share with you. And here you need just to use this template to create a new repo on your own GitHub account. And after that, of course, what you need to do, you need to remove this one. Of course, keep all of that, but you can remove this one here or rename it maybe. You can rename this one, which is quarter of the year, because that's my example. You can rename it according to your challenge. So if your challenge, for example, is try to find, for example, I don't know, whatever your challenge is, you need to rename your challenge according to this one. And then you have the file, you just need to try to solve the problem. So let's have a look at this challenge here. First, I'm gonna open my package.json. So in my package.json, let's see what do we have. I have just already installed for you. So that's fine. We don't need just DOM. Just DOM, which is when you use it to test the DOM or the component function, because here you don't have component function. The solution, it will be only logical part. Prettier, you have everything you need. You have be able to transfer your code, so you can use export, import, everything is set up for you. Let's go to this example, which is quarter of the year. And you need to do exactly as is written here. So let me open it in VS Code. It will be a little bit easier. .com.dev. Voila. Okay, let's just wait a little bit. Okay, let's click on this one. So what you can do, you can go to the website. So as you can see here, we have some README, name.md.md, something like that. And also you have a video here. If you have time, you can watch it. It show you some how to refactor test, stuff like that. We have remix, then we have your solution. So as you can see, solution here, and then we have solution 1 test. Then you can add solution 2, solution 3, solution 4, solution 5, solution 6, whatever you have. Now, first, if you go to this challenge, to this website, of course, you will find that there's other people. There's other people already add some solution. So what you can do first, you can study their solution. So for example, I'm trying to find the quarter of the year. So if I enter, for example, 1, which will be January, it will tell me it's the first quarter. Why? Because the year is divided into how many quarter? 4 quarter, because I have 12 months. So if I divide it, yeah, it's correct, right? Yeah, each month, each quarter, we have 3 months. So if January, it will be in the first quarter. April, it will be in the second, and so on, and so on, and so on. So what I need to do here, I need a function, I need a solution. When I pass the month, it will tell me, is it quarter 1 or quarter 2 or quarter 3 or quarter 4? That's the challenge simply. So here there is a guy called Dan, I don't know, Daniel.md. And here, as you can see, we are trying to study his solution. So let me click on this one here. I don't know if I have any, do I have any view here? I should have something. Voila. So I'm trying to preview. So this guy, what he's do here, as you can see, his solution is very simple. It's just 1 line of code. So what did he do? He create a function, and as this function take a month. And of course, depending on this month, it will be number, of course. Okay, so it will be either 1, 2, 3, 4, and stuff like that. So what it's doing here, that's the first month. Here, say 1, 1, 1. And here, 1. Here I have 2. Why do I have 1 extra here? So I think it's 1, 1, 1. That's the first month. And here, if you enter 0 or something like that, so it may enter 0 as well. It should be 1. So if we enter 0, 1, 2, 3, all of them should give me 1, the first quarter. If he enter 4, 5, stuff like that, should give me the second quarter, and then 3, and then the fourth. Now, of course, I will enter a number. So if I enter 0, it will be which quarter? The first one, right? So now here I'm saying bracket 0. Bracket 0, that means index 0. Which one is the index 0? 1. So it will return me the first one. If I enter month 1, for example, 1. Now bracket 1, which one is bracket 1? 1. So it's indeed, it's the first quarter. Now, if I enter 2, it's which quarter it is? Also 1. So if 2 here, it will be giving me. If I enter 3, which quarter it will be? Also 1. So now it's giving me 1. If I enter 4, it will give me the second quarter. So bracket 4. So bracket 4 here, it will be 2. So it will give me the second quarter. If I enter 5, same idea, bracket 5. So it will be 2 here. Bracket 6, it will give me 2. Bracket 7, it will give me 3. Bracket 8, it will give me this 1, and so on and so on. So as you can see, the solution is very simple, actually. Yes, Agnieszka, you understand the solution? Because here I'm trying to access the index. Notice, just, okay, let me just, do I have a testing here? Testing. Let me create a JavaScript file, and let's name it main.js. Notice the solution, Agnieszka. So if I copy his solution like that, now here, when I call the function, I need to pass a number, right? What will be this number? It will be the quarter, whatever month I'm trying. So if I want to try to the first month, I will pass 1. And notice now what will happen. So what will happen here, it will be bracket 1. This is an array. If I want to try to access the first item, I will say bracket 1 and so on. Let's log this one so we can see the result. Log. Voila. And now all I have to do, I need to run my code, but let me see. I need to refresh this one. Yes, testing. Click on this one. And in here, I can just inspect. And now I can run. And now here, of course, because I'm passing 1, it will be bracket 1, right? So which it will be the bracket 1. So it will be the first index. Where is my first index? 1. So if I run, and well, as you can see, it's giving me 1. So let's debug it and see. Click. Why is not debugging? Now it's debugging. Notice what will happen when I click on this one. So click. Now I'm calling my function. Click. Notice here, what is the month here? It's bracket 1, right? So bracket 1, when I say array, bracket something, bracket the index, it will give me which item here. So which item is the index 1? 1. So that's it. So I'm trying to access the item from an array. So I need to use bracket, as you know. Is it quite clear?
Yeah, 4 ones, and after that 3 twos, 3 threes, and 3 tens.
Because maybe if the user pass 0, so if the user pass 0, it will give me 1. We don't know. If he pass 1, it will be 1. If he pass 2, it will be 1. If he pass 3, it will be 1. And then after that, 4, 5, 6, we only have 3 possibility, and so on and so on. Is it quite clear? Because the months, of course, they're no more than 12, right? But maybe some user will start with 0. That's the reason why I add 4, 1, just in case someone pass 0. Clear? A simple solution, as you can see. And click here. Voila. Of course, here you can read through this one. Here, this describe its strategy, what different strategy he used, and then different implementation as like that. So here, what we're trying to do, we're trying to read some other people code. So we see how people do it. And after that, we can write our own. So that's the first solution. The second solution, this guy a little bit complicated. So what he's using? He's using months plus 11. It's just that's some equation divided by 3, modulus 4 plus 1. And if actually, indeed, if you use this equation here, it will work totally. So that's mathematical equation. You don't worry about it. I told you that's a little bit complex. It's mathematical equation. It's not programming, just some equation you need to use. So this guy just used this approach and it's working perfectly. So that's fine. Okay, we have remix 1. And remix 1 here, of course, in this remix 1, it's also another solution, as you can see. And we have then remix 2, as you can see, another solution. So the idea is you try first, when you pick a challenge, you find other people's solution. So you can pick one solution or 2, and after that, try to describe, of course, the behavior we already know. Yeah, but you need to describe the strategies. So what strategy he used, and after that, the implementation, what feature he used. Did he use for loop? Did he use, for example, this guy here used arrow function, as you can see. And after the arrow function here, just using the index to access any item in the array. So you need to describe also the implementation, what language feature he used, okay? So you'll use 2 guys and you write them in form of Markdown. After I finish this one, I can write my own solution. So what is my own solution? Well, now here, as you can see, if I divided the month by 3, because each category has 3 on it, if I divided the month by 3, so take any month you want, 11, for example. 11 divided by 3, how much? Let's open our console and see. So 11 should give me 4, right? If I choose 11, should give me 4, right? 11. Just a second, guys. Just a second. If I use 11, it should give me 4, right? Because it's the 4th quarter. So let's see if it will work, my solution will work or not. So what was my solution? My solution, what I did, what the hell it does? My solution was simply what I'm doing here. I'm just taking the months, I'm dividing it by 3, and then I'm taking mass.ceil. So let's try this solution with 11, for example. 11 divided by 3, how much? It's 3.666. No, if I take the floor, how much it will give me? It will give me 3. True, but why it's 3? It shouldn't be 3 actually. It should be 4, right? I'm using mass.ceil. I'm not using mass.floor, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Where's my solution? Where is my solution? Where is my solution? Where is my solution? Where is my solution? I'm using mass.ceil, not mass.floor. So as you can see, it will be 3.6. If I seal it, it will be 4, and that's correct. If you pick any month, it will work. My solution is quite simple. So what I'm doing here, I'm dividing the months by 3. And after that, I seal it. When I seal it here, it will give me one of the 4 quadrants, simply like that. And of course, that's solution 1. And as you can see here, I'm documenting my solution. So everything must be very careful. As you can see, I am documenting my function. After that, I'm writing unit test, everything for it. And I can also describe my solution if I want to. Behavior, of course, it's, as you already did, it's a strategy and implementation. I can write some strategy if I want to in MD file, and implementation should be simple. So just like that, if you want to add an MD file describing your solution, it's not a bad idea. Just like you did for this guy, you can do it for yourself as well. Is the idea clear? Agnieszka, 100%. So you will go to any of these websites, EDABIT or LateCode, or there's other I share with you. You pick a challenge. You see that some people already wrote some solution. You could choose 2 solutions, and after that, you will try an MD file. You will just describe the solution. So you will put his name, the link to his stuff. So you have already all of this stuff. Use the link to his solution, and after that, his solution, then you put the strategy and the implementation. Or you will put another solution, same idea exactly. And you can all the time go back to this one to learn how to write about the strategy and implementation. After that, you can now write your own solution. And then here you can use export, import, of course, here. And then you can write just some unit testing to make sure that your function is working. Of course, here you can use it or test. Both of them works. I've already told you before. Test. Test. Is it clear what you need to do today? Is it 100% clear for everyone? Okay, so again, I'll give you more time. You can read this solution wrap up. You can read it, just see how everything is working. If you have a question, you can let me know. And after that, when you are done reading, understand everything, what you need to do is you need to go, of course, to what is lesson plan, solution wrap up. And here, after you read this one, you understand everything. You can click on, this one. And here you need to use this template to create a repo on your own account. And after that, you will go to this website, whatever website you choose, LetCode, EDABIT. Click on this one. Of course, you need an account, by the way. And here you need to use the language JavaScript. You want it easy or difficult, totally up to you. And you can use any challenge you want to. Return the sum of 2 numbers. So if I click on this one, and here, when you add your solution, you will find, see, there are solutions here. A lot of people, as you can see, write a lot of solution here. So you can pick 2 solutions you like. And after that, you need to describe the strategy and the implementation. Okay. And then after that, you can come up with your own solution. That's everything here. If you have a question, let me know. If not, I'm going to stop recording.